Cimoooooooo! What's going on, guys? It's Cimo, and today I'm going to share with you my undefeated Traptrix hand deck that I ran at locals yesterday. I went 5-0, and I'm just going to get right into it, and we'll talk as we go. So your heart and soul of the deck is 3 Traptrix Myrmeleo. This card is just incredible. You normal summon it, you grab a hole from your deck. When it's special summon, it's built in MST, so it's like you're running 6 MSTs in the deck, 9 if you count Ice Hand. Oh, it's such a good card. To complement that, we have triple Fire Hand and triple Ice Hand, of course. These are just amazing for maintaining field presence. So many decks just have trouble getting them off the board because when one gets destroyed, it's special summons another, and it's just crazy, crazy destruction, and some decks just can't keep up with it, but really good cards. Next, we have 2 Traptrix Dionaea. This is basically like a wolf bark for Traptrix. So you can bring back either another copy of herself or preferably a Myrmeleo, because then you can pop a spell or trap, and then you can do a rank 4 XC play. Her special summon effect lets you recycle whole cards from your graveyard, so it doesn't get used too often, but you know, it can come in handy every now and then. I then decided to run 2 Maxx Cs. I know a lot of the best decks right now special summon very heavily, and since this deck runs a very low monster count, I figured that more draw power would be better. So I figured, hey, 2 Maxx Cs will do really well. I also ran an Effect Veiler. Sorry, this is just a blank card, but I borrowed a few cards from my friend. Thumbs up to James. This was actually a last-second decision, and I'm really glad I made it, because Effect Veiler was a really good decision. It's just a really disruptive card, and just really good. Then ran 1 Granmole. Granmole is incredible right now. I mean, this card won me games, because you can just bounce back Synchros and Xyz. It doesn't target, so you can get rid of anything that protects from targeting. I mean, it's just such an amazing card. And finally, to round up the monsters, 1 Thunder King. You know, you're running all level 4s, and Thunder King's he's just the level 4. 1900 beater. He prevents cards from being added from the deck to the hand. He can negate his special summon. He's just all around an amazing card. Moving on to the spells, we have triple MST. Nothing new here. MST is MST. It's amazing. Triple Duality. Duality is just really good because you just want to thin your deck out, get to the cards you really want. And the special summoning thing isn't a big deal, because if you Duality into a hand, you know, you can just set it and pass turn because you've achieved some sort of presence on the field. Double Soul Charge. A lot of the cards in this deck have some advantage from getting resurrected from the graveyard. Myrmeleo, Dionaea, even if you bring back a hand, you can use its effect to recycle to get more hands out of your deck. Soul Charge is just really good in this deck. Then for the one-ofs, we have Book of Moon. Book of Moon, just an amazing offensive and defensive quick play spell. 1 Dark Hole. You know, it amazes me that people are side decking this or not running it at all, because Dark Hole can get around so many things. It just blows up the field. It's just such a good card. I always main deck 1. Mind Control. Since a lot of the best decks are level 4, they're running all level 4s. Just Mind Control their monster. You can XC with it. Or if they have something big that you can't really get out of the way, just take control of it and you can just attack through it, or attack by it. So, Mind Control is a really good card. Pot of Dichotomy. This deck runs Pyro, Aqua, Thunder, Rock, Insect, and that's just the main deck. The extra deck is just way more different types. You know, Pot of Dichotomy, just the ability to draw more cards, it's incredible. I don't know if I would run more than 1. I mean, you could probably get away with 2, but like I said, you have a really low monster count, so I think 1 is the ideal number. And then the tech of the day is Rank Up Magic Quick Chaos. 99% of the time, this was just MST bait, but there was one game where I pulled this off, and I'll get into that later, but oh my god, it was incredible. So that's it for the spells. As for the traps, we have double Call of the Haunted. Same thing with Soul Charge. You know, you want to bring back stuff like Myrmeleo and Dionaea, even a hand. Call of the Haunted is just really good. You can also use it for XC plays as well. Then I also ran 2 Traptrix Shrapnel Nightmare. I know this card's been, you know, upped in price, really inflated, but it's still a really good card, especially if your opponent doesn't know what you're playing yet. You can just, they'll fall right into it every time. It's just a really strong trap card. You know, I don't know if it's warranted being a $15 card, but it's good. Then for the one-ofs, 1 Black Horn of Heaven. A lot of decks will exceed at least into 1 monster. I mean, hell, even Boojins will go into Cimoooooooo, and that's like their only play. But, you know, 1 Blackhorn I feel is good. Then we have one Bottomless. You know, it's Traptrix. Gotta have Bottomless. One Compulse. Compulse is Compulse. MVP of the deck, by far. Memory of an Adversary. This card won me so many games. I mean, in round 3 against Sylvans, I stole a Sage Koya with this, and then I won because of it. And then against Harpies, I actually used this on Master of Blades to get around his effect. So, and Memory of an Adversary is an amazing card right now. One Mind Crush, I use this just because with the mentality that every deck searches, so I can help get rid of some power cards. But unfortunately, I hardly drew it, so it was kind of a hit or miss. And then finally, one Solemn Warning and one Torrential Tribute. For the side deck, we have 2 Fossil Dyna. Fossil Dyna is incredible. I mean, especially against the decks like, say, Sylvans. I used this against Sylvans, and I opened with it, actually, on Game 2. He could not do anything for 4 turns because he could not get over this Fossil Dyna. So I just kept hitting him for 1,200 every turn. So Fossil Dyna is pretty good. DD Crow, this was just for, you know, Mirror Match or, like, Fire Kings. Boojins, really just anything like that. I didn't have to side him today. Double Imperial Iron Wall. This is to protect my cards from getting banished so that they get their effects. And it's also used against cards like decks like Boojins, Mythic Rulers, things like that. Double Light Mirror, more Boojin hate. A second Blackhorn. This was used for if decks were very heavily into Xyz summoning. I sided in it a couple times. Eradicator. This was for like Prophecy, Chain Burn. I could even use this in the Mirror Match since this deck runs a very heavy trap lineup, but I didn't end up siding it at all. Full House. Full House is amazing. I sided this in actually quite a bit, and I got it off quite a bit as well. It's a very devastating card if you get it off. A second Memory of an Adversary. I sided this in a lot as well. Memory of an Adversary is so good right now. One Shadow Mirror, you know, Evil Swarm, Ghost Tricks, Dark World, stuff like that. One Trap Stun, again, you can use this in the Mirror Match or really heavy trap decks, Chain Burn. And same thing goes for Double Wiretap, but the Double Wiretap is also used for counter siding, so if they side in stuff like Macrocosmos or Debunk, you can use Wiretap to help alleviate some of those problems. For the extra deck, this was an Armades. It was my only Synchro monster. Since I did run one Veiler, I actually made Armades several times, and even though Battle Traps aren't being run that much, there were a couple decks I faced that did run a lot of Battle Traps. This card put in work against that. One Dweller, didn't use him. One Diamond Dyer, didn't use him. I Cowboyed for game 3 times, I think, so he did his job. Pearl, didn't use him. Maystroke, didn't use him. Black Ship Corn, didn't use him. Rhapsody and Berserk, did not use him. Heartland Draco, didn't use him. Crazy Box, didn't use him. Double 101 Honor Arc. And then this will probably give away why I ran this, because I ran one Silent Honor Dark. This was just for fun, and I just did this as a last-minute decision. I'm running mainly all level 4s, but oh my god. So I'm going to tell this story now. Round 3 against Sylvans. It was game 3 in time. I made this. I had to Soul Charge to make Arc, and then I played this to get Dark, and then we were on our 5 turns. And so it was turn 5, and luckily for me, he only had one monster special summoned. And so I could have won this in a multitude of ways without knowing what I would draw. I ended up drawing a Fire Hand. So I could have either summoned the Fire Hand, attacked his monster, and then attacked for game with Dark. I could have absorbed the monster with Dark and then attacked him directly. Or I had a Dark Hole in hand. I could have Dark Holed my own Dark and then special summoned him back and gained 2,800 life points to take the life lead and win. It was a really incredible game. Back to the deck profile. One Ragna Zero, MVP of the deck. Holy shit, this card is incredible. Boojins, Fire Fist, Fire Kings, Harpies. I have a game I'm putting up against Harpies. You will see how much work Ragna Zero can put in against Harpies. This should be extra deck staple. It is so good. And one Steel Storm Roach, which funny enough I actually used because I played a Mythic Ruler player, and it ended up locking him down until he drew a skill drain like 3 turns after I summoned Roach. So, Quickly for the matchups I'm going to talk about. Round 1 was against Dark World, and that was a hell of a time because game 1 I 2-0'd. The first game was really easy, and then the second game I sided and I opened with this on turn 1. And once I flipped both of these over, he just scooped because he literally could not play Yu-Gi-Oh! Game 2 was against Mythic Rulers, and like I said, Roach was the beast there because pretty much stopped him from playing, so it went pretty well. It was a grind game at the end. Round 3 was against Sylvans. People, Sylvans are a real deck. Sylvans are very scary, and if you don't understand the deck, you need to learn, because Sylvans can do some crazy shit. He ended up winning game 1, I won game 2, and then because of this, I won game 3. So that was absolutely hilarious. Game 4 was against Fire Fist, and shout out to my friend Adrian. I always end up playing him in the tournament. He's an amazing Fire Fist player, but when it comes to Ragna Zero, Fire Fist just can't keep up because they have nothing they can do against Ragna Zero. Ragna Zero, I pull it out every time, and it just annihilates Fire Fist. So, like I said, Ragna Zero MVP. And then the 5th matchup was against Harpies. I'm not even going to talk about that match because I'm actually uploading a video that is going to be all 3 rounds, or all 3 games of that Harpy match, and you will get to see how crazy that turned out. So there you have it, guys. That's my Traptrix hand build. Leave any comments down below. Thanks so much for watching the video, and we'll see you next time.